I don't want this to sound arrogant, but I'm going to say it anyway. I actually think that a lot of people from the progressive side don't want to come on and have to justify their positions in terms of arguments, facts, reason, the basis of so much of our knowledge, which is historical understanding. They don't want to go there. As Ayaan Hirsi Ali puts it, we're in danger of turning our democracy into an emocracy. Mm-hmm. Democracy can only work when you're clearly committed to reasoned, evidence-based debate. You will not produce good policy out of a truncated, a bastardised, a silenced debate. It can't happen. That's the story of the West today. We're not seeing good policy because the debating processes are so tortured, so maligned, if you like, so broken down. And because we don't think truth matters anymore.
All right, you're a pro, John Anderson. We are flipping the script. We just sat down for about an hour. Yeah, you got to get rid of that piece of paper. Get that out of here. We're gonna flip the script. I suspect I'm gonna ask you many of the same things that you asked me, and already your body language has changed as the interviewee versus the interviewer. That's how it works.
Did I give that away?
Yeah, and it was. You have to shift a little, or maybe it's from sitting for a while. First, let me ask you this, because as someone that's been in politics, that is now in. Well, what do you consider yourself now? Why don't we start with that? If I was to say, what is John Anderson now in a public sense? What do you really consider yourself?
The flippant comment, not altogether flippant. If you say to me, who are you? I'm a guy who lives in the bush, the country, yep. Was a farmer, now work for my son, who is the farmer, and he with his lovely wife run the show. That's sort of, my mindset.
That's the man, John Anderson, and then the public, John Anderson.
I find myself intrigued that there's such a hunger for content, that there is such an extraordinary suspicion, cynicism about mainstream media, that I'm really aware that people are looking for much more depth. And I'm particularly struck by the way in which young people will pull me up and want to talk about a conversation I've had. Might be this one. Yeah. It will be this one after it goes up. Oh, I saw you talking to, and can we talk about it? So I'm kind of aware. It's a funny thing to say that I'm probably more now known as a social commentator than a former politician.
Yeah. Could you have ever dreamed that was
no
what it was going to be?
Who knew? You wouldn't have known when you and I started that podcasting would become so big.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said to you right when we sat down, is that you seem, when I said I'm going to see John today, it's like I'm seeing an old friend, because we did, I think the first time we did this was at my house in about 2016 or 17. It's long time ago. In 9 years is not that long, but in some sense, in the way the world has sped up, it feels like a long time. Do you feel that you can affect things the way you want now outside of the system? More? Is it more than when you were in the system? Is it less than you were in the system? Is it just a different way that you're affecting things?
Well, certainly a different way. But it's funny that you should say that, because a number of people who say to me, oh, you have more impact now than you did when you were in that talk fest. And I think the first thing I'd say there is, I don't want to sound like the clever guy. It's more that I have clever people on, and I can create a conduit for people who think clearly and well and have got important things to say, whether I agree with them or not. I get accused of running a conservative podcast. In reality, many of the people I talk to are not conservative.
Yeah.
Or they've come to some conservative positions on key issues. I'll give you a classic example. I often talk to Warren Farrell from the state that you were once in California.
Yeah.
He'll tell you, he said, I'm a liberal in the American sense. I'm a lefty on everything except the importance of children and fathering. He'll tell you that. But I suppose, there'd be plenty of people in America say, oh, he's deserted the true cause. He's now right wing. What? For saying that fathering matters and that our boys are not doing well and we need to reassess this and be less selfish and less keen to pursue what we want to do and not worry as much about the way in which we carry our responsibilities, that makes you some sort of traitor? I think he's incredibly thoughtful. And
it says more about the modern left, I suppose, than it says about him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they've looked to purge. So as you've interviewed people, how do you get the people that are generally not willing to talk to you? Are you able to? Because that has become my great challenge now. Professionally, that's become my great challenge.
I don't want this to sound arrogant, but I'm going to say it anyway. I actually think that a lot of people from the progressive side don't want to come on and have to justify their positions in terms of arguments, facts, reason, the basis of so much of our knowledge, which is historical understanding. They don't want to go there. As Ayaan Hirsi Ali puts it, we're in danger of turning our democracy into an emocracy. Mm-hmm. Democracy can only work when you're clearly committed to reasoned, evidence-based debate. You will not produce good policy out of a truncated, a bastardised, a silenced debate. It can't happen. That's the story of the West today. We're not seeing good policy because the debating processes are so tortured, so maligned, if you like, so broken down. And because we don't think truth matters anymore. Who was it? Thomas Sowell made that interesting observation. It's not that little Johnny can't think, he can think. It's not that little Johnny can't feel, he can feel. The trouble is that little Johnny thinks that feeling is thinking. And so very rarely do people say no if they're interested in having a debate about something where they've done deep research and where it really stacks up. But there's a lot of people now who have high public profiles that are not doing that research and can't justify their arguments. That's my impression. If it sounds arrogant, I'm sorry, but
no, I don't think it sounds arrogant. I think that's kind of just where we are at as a species, partly because of the internet and partly because of success of the West has left us kind of fat and dumb and well, I guess that would be the next question. Do you think that some of this, what you just described, is just a function of the success of the West?
In Australia, undoubtedly.
That's interesting.
Undoubtedly. We've always been known for being laissez-faire, not a bad thing, always been known for Jack's as good as his mate. There's no class system in Australia. No. We've always been sceptical about tall poppies. A very egalitarian society, a very fortunate society. We've always been pretty well off. In fact, at 1900, it's often said that Argentina and Australia had the highest per capita wages in the world. Mm. And Australia, of course, built on that. Argentina didn't. We now seem to be determined to destroy it in pretty short order. Right.
And ironically, Argentina is now going like this because they've returned to some of the things that
at last. Yeah. A bit of discipline around the place. Yeah. By which I mean fiscal discipline, not trying to deny people their freedom. Yeah. Maybe their licentiousness, not their freedom. Big distinction to make. But I think the downside of the admirable equality, egalitarianism of Australians is actually complacency. Now, the problem with complacency, as somebody pointed out, is that you can ignore reality for as long as you like, but in the end, you won't be able to ignore the consequences of reality. And I can think of 5 or 6 areas where this country absolutely needs to be making choices right now if we're to secure for our children and our grandchildren what we had, and we're not making those choices. We're running away from them. And in fact, we're buying them off in a form of intergenerational theft, both economic and social, and I would argue geopolitically.
If you're looking for more eye-opening and worldly conversations, make sure to dive into our international playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a wide variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.